Alright guys, hello and welcome back to another Tail Ash vlog, where today I'm going to give you some more amazing tips on another important phase of your life. Now, say you just met an amazing girl, you've had an amazing time with her, but you haven't met her parents. Maybe she's told them about you, maybe she hasn't, but now the time has come to meet them for the very first time. I'm here today to give you some tips about how to handle that situation and how to make sure that you come off with a good first impression. Let's get started, shall we? Number 1, when you go and knocking on her door and her parents answer the door, feel free to just let yourself in. Doing this will give them the impression that you're assertive, aggressive, and masculine, which is what they want for their daughter. Sure, you're a stranger walking into their house now, but eventually you're going to be living on their couch, because that's the dream. Number 2, talk about how physically attractive their daughter is to you. Make sure you go completely in depth and don't leave out any details about how she turns you on. Focus on positive features like childbearing hips, aka that donk. Be very descriptive about how hard it is for you to keep your hands off of her, because you never do. Number 3, show you have a physical connection with her by staying close to her the entire time. Keep your hands on some part of her at all times. It doesn't really matter which parts. If it feels right, it feels right. If her parents don't like you putting your hands on her, then they can speak up. If they do speak up, just remind them how physically attracted you are to her and how hard it is for you to keep your hands off of her. Number 4, be honest about what you want out of the relationship. Even if it's a purely physical relationship, they want to know, because this is usually a prerequisite for many parents. If marriage and kids aren't on the agenda at all, if it's just not gonna happen, you should tell them. They would rather hear it up front than to find out later, right? So you might as well just tell them now that it's just not gonna happen long term. Number 5, be open about talking about the far off future. If you do have big plans for the future, then be honest and open. If you can see a long-term relationship with this girl and you do want to get married and you do want to have kids, maybe it's time to invest in some babysitting. Ask them if they'd be willing to take the kids off your hands for a couple nights. Or 10. Now is a good time to invest in your future with her parents, since the only contribution that they're going to be making anyway is paying for her wedding. Number 6, establish gender roles. You'll want to show them that you wear the pants in the relationship and you make all of the final decisions. It's likely that they'll understand that their daughter is supposed to cater to your every whim, since they're old and that's how they grew up. They'll understand that she's your main support system, even if you can't support the family yourself. She'll get a job. She can run the house. Number 7. Let them know about your past relationships. Tell them about that psycho ex that wouldn't let you party when you wanted. Tell them about that girl who kept her ugly body a secret from you. But lastly, reassure them that their daughter couldn't possibly be as bad as any of them. Number 8. Be prepared for uncomfortable questions. You shouldn't have to answer anything in front of them that they couldn't answer in front of you. You're entitled to your privacy and your own personal life, away from them and their daughter. If they get stubborn and just keep asking questions, then just stay silent until the topic is dropped altogether. They'll understand. Number 9. Tell them your priorities. Tell them how valuable your free time is to you. Remember that psycho ex that wouldn't let you party? Tell them you have lots of commitments aside from the relationship, like fantasy leagues and video game tournaments. But right up next on that list of your priorities is their sweet little girl. So again, those are not things to be followed. I think I did a better job of coming up with tips that, sounded good in the first little part, but then once I got into them, all the details that I threw in there, don't do those things. Like, follow the advice of don't let yourself in. Don't go in depth about talking about how physically attractive she is to you. Even if it's your first time meeting them, and even if you've only been on a few dates with this girl, all that her parents are going to want to see from you is that you're comfortable and confident and you're willing to put in everything that you feel you can into the relationship that you have with their daughter. It's going to be a lot easier for them to understand you being upfront about things and just answering their questions directly than beating around the bush and hiding stuff from them, because eventually they're going to find out, and even if you hide stuff from the girl that she doesn't know, eventually she's going to find out too, but that's like a whole nother video I can't even go into. Now I get that this one is just about meeting her parents. I wanted to make one that was combined, meaning his and her, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is making one that's strictly just meeting his parents. Probably going to try to get some extra help on that one though, since, I haven't had that experience yet. I think you've kind of established by now that these videos aren't really about following the detailed instructions of what I'm giving you, but really to just, have a laugh about what you shouldn't do, and really, you should know what you should be doing. Like, I'm pretty sure you know what's appropriate and inappropriate when meeting her parents for the first time. It's normal to be nervous. It's normal to be just, shaky and sweaty when you meet her parents for the first time. If it's the very first time that you're meeting them and, you've been going out with this girl and like maybe she hasn't even told them about you, don't sweat it. Just go in there and be yourself, and that's all that they can really ask for. If they don't like you, then that's just tough luck for you, and you're gonna need to find a way to communicate with your girlfriend about how to make that right and what it is that doesn't sit well with them about you. But anyway, chances are if you go in there and be yourself, you'll be fine. You won't have to worry about any of that last stuff I just said. That's enough of that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I hope you guys enjoyed the last vlog with the other tips, the other horrendous tips. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of whatever it is wherever you are, and I'm sure that we've seen you very, very soon. For the record, I didn't follow any of those tips when I met my girlfriend's parents for the first time, and we've been together for 3 years, so do the maths and come back to me on that. May have let myself in. I'm only human, okay? The only contribution that they're going to be making anyway is paying for her wedding. This is so bad.